So this is the activity 10.2 on page 172. Okay, so let us get right into it. Prepare the creditor's journal. Okay, that is the heading. That's what they are telling you to do. So Celis Baza made the following credit purchases during the month of April 20.6. Prepare the creditor's journal for 20.6. So before we even get into our transactions, make sure that you have your heading. So before you even read what happened in that month, go and put your heading. Don't lose this mark. I put it there already. It's not supposed to be there because you're not going to get it in your paper. So Creditors Journal of Celis Baza for April 20.6. Okay, that is your heading. You get a full mark for that. Don't throw it away, please. So now let's see our transactions. First transaction says on the 1st of April, bought stock on credit from Cash and Go for 45,000 less 10% trade discount. So before we go further, let us understand what is happening here first. So we went to Cash and Go and bought for 45,000 and then they gave us 10% discount. Going further, invoice S234 was received and renumbered to 854. So before we record this transaction, I just want to remind you that I said with credit invoices, we are never going to receive credit invoices that are in numerical order. Why? Because we are not the business that is issuing credit invoices. Okay, so the reason we are not receiving them in numerical order is because we are not the only customer to that business we bought from on credit. Okay, so you might find that on that specific day we went and bought stock on credit from them, and then we were the customer number 234 for that month. And then there will be another customer that comes and will receive invoice number 235. So that is why they will never be in numerical order when we receive them. However, some businesses will renumber their credit invoices as they receive them. Why? Because they want to keep things in order. Okay, so Celis Baza is one of the businesses that decided that we are going to renumber our invoices because we don't want to get confused. Okay, so when you go and enter or record this transaction, you have to go with the new number. I hope it makes sense. So let us go and record this transaction. You have your heading there. Invoice number will be 854. Okay, and then this happened on day 1. Creditor will be Cash and Go. We went to Cash and Go. Folio, in the folio, what you record in here is the creditor's ledger number. So creditor's ledger number 1 will be your creditor number 1. Okay, so it will be creditor's ledger number 1. And then creditors control, what goes in here is how much we owe that specific creditor. Okay, so let us go again and check how much we owe this person or this business. So we bought for 45,000 and they gave us 10% discount, which means we are not owing them 45,000. We owe them less than that. So how much are we owing them? We have to now calculate. Okay, so the simplest formula that you can use in this case is that, remember, 45,000 is the 100%, right? It's a full amount, which means it is 100%. But then they said, no, we don't want you to pay 100%. We are minusing 10% from what you have to pay us. Okay, so we are no longer going to pay them 100%. We are going to pay them 100 minus 10, which is 90. So basically, we are going to pay them 90%. Oh, sorry. Basically, we are going to pay them 90%. So you're going to say 45,000 times 90%, and it will give you exactly how much we have to pay them. Okay? So we have to pay them 40,500. So 40,500 is what we have to pay to Cash and Go. So another method that is that you are probably used to, you can say 45,000 times 10%. So you first look for the 10%, okay, which means now this is the amount that has been reduced from the initial amount we owe to Cash and Go. So you will say 45,000 minus that 10% of 4,500, and then it will still give you the same answer. So we owe them 40,500 right now. So now, what do we owe them 40,500 for? What did we buy? It said here that we bought stock, which means now this transaction or this amount has to show that we bought stock. Then you go and record it in the trading stock column. So I hope you got that one right. Moving on, second transaction. So on the 3rd of April, we received an invoice from Pens Unlimited for equipment of 12,300 and stationery costing 540, which was for the owner's personal use. Too much information. When you get a transaction that is like this, break it into small parts. So let us first deal with the first part of equipment. So we received an invoice from Pens Unlimited, that will be our creditor, for equipment of 12,300. So we went to Pens Unlimited and bought equipment for 12,300. So now invoice number. Remember, in the first transaction, they said that Sally Spaza renumbers their invoices. Why? Because they want them to be in order. So it means now you continue with the renumbering. So the next invoice will then be 855. Okay. However, if they had not told you that say lead renumbers their invoice, it means you were going to take the invoice numbers that are given to you in the transactions. Okay, so this happened on day 3, and we bought from Pens Unlimited, and this will be our creditor number 2. So it comes from creditors ledger number 2. So creditors control, how much do we owe Pens Unlimited? Remember, we bought 2 things from Pens Unlimited, so we will come back. Okay, so we bought stationery and equipment, and remember I said to you, in the creditors control, what you put in here is the total amount that we owe that creditor. Okay, so since we bought 2 things, the first thing we bought was stationery that is worth 12,300. I hope you are with me. And then we are done with stationery, right? I mean equipment. So we bought equipment for 12,300. So we recorded this part into its place. So now we also bought stationery for 540, which was for owner's personal use. Okay, so please listen here, let me not lose you. Can you see we have the column for trading stock, equipment, and stationery? So don't get confused. Don't just see the word stationery and then you go and put it in the stationery column. No, this stationery here is stationery for the business. But in this case, we did not buy stationery for the business. We bought stationery for who? For the owner. For the owner. And anything that we buy for the owner or that the owner takes from the business is what? It is drawings, which means now this will be drawings of 540. Does it make sense? I hope it makes sense. So we went to Pens Unlimited. We bought equipment of 12,300. All right. And then we also bought stationery for 540, but it was for the owner. Then it will be called drawings. Don't make that mistake of putting it in the stationery column because it's not for the business, it's for the owner. So now the creditors control column, we have to put these two amounts because this is the total that we owe to Pens Unlimited. So we go to our calculator and then you're going to say 12,000. Okay, it's 12,300 plus the 540 of the stationery. This is how much we bought from Pens Unlimited. So we bought for 12,840. So moving on. Okay, so we are done with this one. I hope you understand. On day 12, an invoice was received for the following items purchased on credit from JBase. So we went to JBase this time around and we bought these three things. We bought stock, we bought consumable stores, and then we bought equipment. So let us record it. So invoice, we continue with the numerical order because Sally decided that she will renumber them and put them in order. So it is invoice number 856. This transaction happened on day 12. And then who did we buy from this time around? We bought from JBase. Okay, and JBase will be our creditor number 3. So creditors ledger number 3. We bought different things from JBase. So we bought 3 different things, which means we owe him 3 different amounts, which we have to add, okay, for us to have this amount here. So we will come back, okay. We bought stock first for 14,300. So then we are going to go where? In the trading stock, okay, and then we show that we bought stock for 14,300. What else did we buy from JBase? We bought consumable stores of 430. All right, so we don't have consumable stocks here. We don't have it in these columns, so it's going to go in our sundry account. So that was 430 and it is for consumable stores. Okay, okay, so another thing that we bought from JBase, last thing we bought from JBase on this day is equipment worth 23,990. So we bought equipment. So we're going to equipment and show that we bought equipment from JBase that is worth 23,990. Okay, so this is all that we bought from JBase. We bought trading stock, okay, and then we bought equipment. We also bought consumable stores, which is shown in the sundry accounts because it does not have its own column. So now we want to know how much do we owe JBase So this is the amount which goes in the creditors control column, the total. So now we have to add the three amounts. First one is 14,300 plus 23,990. Okay, 14,300 plus 23,990, and then plus 430, right? And then it gives us 53,020. That is how much we owe him or the business, 53,020. So 53,020 is how much we owe JBase. So I don't want to see a list of things here. No, the total must be in the creditors control column. Moving on to the next transaction. So on the 18th, we placed an advertisement in the blue pages for 1,300. The amount was charged to our account. Keyword here is to our account. If I go to the tech shop at school and say to them, please make me pita bread and ham and put it on my account, what I actually mean is that I'm buying it on credit. If they say on account, it means they bought on credit. All right, so let's go and record that. So invoice will be in numerical order, which means it will be 857. It happened on day 18, and the creditor this time around is blue pages, right? And this will be creditor ledger number 4. All right, and the full amount that we owe him is 1,300, right? And then what do we owe him 1,300 for? We owe him for advertisement. So we said to him, please advertise for us and then we will pay you later on. So that 1,300 was for advertisement. So I hope you get the picture. Then you are done with blue pages. You owe him 1,300 for advertisement, and then this is the total that you owe him, right? So going to our next transaction. On the 22nd, we purchased stock for 4,200 and stationery of 230 from Cash and Go. So we went back to Cash and Go. He's probably our favorite. So numerical order again. So it's going to be 858. It happened on day 2, and we went to Cash and Go. So now creditors ledger will be creditors ledger number 1. Number what? I know in your head you are saying it's creditors ledger number 5. No, it's not. Creditors, remember we bought from from Cash and Go before, which means he was our first creditor. He is creditor number 1, which means we already have his ledger. So it is going to be creditors ledger number 1 because we've bought from him before. I hope it makes sense. But if it was someone different, it means now we have to go and open a ledger for that person. But if we already have a ledger for that specific creditor, it means if they are number 1, they will always be number 1. If we go to Pens Unlimited again and buy from him on the 23rd here, it means creditors ledger will be creditors ledger number 2 because we already have his ledger in our books. I hope it makes sense. So we went back to Cash and Go and we bought stock as well as stationery. This time it's not stationery for the owner or what. No, it's for the business. So stock and stationery for the business. So let's first record the stock. We went to buy from Cash and Go the stock, so we're going to trading stock column to show that we bought stock. We bought stock that is worth 4,200, right? And then we bought stationery for the business. That's why it goes here in the stationery. This is stationery, ne? Don't get confused. So it's stationery for 230. Why do I have a space there? Does it make sense? I hope it does. So we bought trading stock and stationery from Cash and Go. So now how much do we owe him in total? Let us calculate that. So it is going to be 4,200 plus 230, which gives me, I didn't see that, 4,430. 4,430. Last transaction. On the 27th of April, an invoice was received for 4,495 for repairs done to the computers by disk and drives. Sorry. So we received an invoice, meaning we bought on credit. If we receive an invoice, it means we bought on credit. So if they say we bought and it was put on our account, it means credit. An invoice was received, it means credit. So please be aware and be familiar. Get familiar with these terms. Okay. So it will be invoice number 859. It happened on the 27th, and this time around our creditor is disks and drives, right? And then because it's a new creditor, we don't have him in our books, then it will be creditor number 4, because we have to open his ledger. We have to open for him a new ledger. So how much did we buy for, or how much were the repairs? The repairs were 4,495. Okay. And then what do we owe him for? We owe him for repairs. He repaired our computers. Okay, so which means now we owe him for repairs. Do we have repairs here? We don't. So we go to the sundry account, and the amount would be 4,495. Okay, and what do we owe him for? It's for repairs. Done and dusted. So in this activity, they did not say anything about closing of the creditor's journal. Okay, so you don't have to close it. However, if they are specific and say to you, close off the journal, make sure you have the totals, because you get 2 marks for each total. Please don't forget that. So here is the creditor's ledger of Salis Baza, done and completed. Please, anything you don't understand, ask me in class. Thank you.